Episode 17 of Shack Together. Thanks for joining us. Today we're talking about Killer Klowns from Outer Space, the game. Donovan joins us and tells us all about his surprisingly positive experience. Surprising to me, I should say. Asif and myself both dive into Animal Well and come out the other end pretty keen. Some updates on Vampire Survivors again, MultiVersus, and Rabbit R1. Then, of course, we have a little chat about Summer Games Fest and the predictions we expect or hope for in the coming weeks and months. Be sure to look out for some very hot takes in that segment. Before we move over to story time, Stolen Playdates, EA Sports College Football 25, The Rogue Prince of Persia, Frostpunk 2, Aster, Blade of the Monolith, F1 24, X Defiant. Wow, so many previews and reviews. Amazing. We, of course, have to touch on PlayStation State of Play and how we felt about that series of perhaps lackluster announcements. We do touch on Call of Duty hitting Gamepass and what that means for the industry and Xbox. Community stuff at the back half of the show, and that'll do it. Thanks for listening.
So I was just grocery shopping a few days ago, and you know how like the Cavs are out of the playoffs, right? Like they lost.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. So like Cavs gear at this grocery store was on sale. And I was like, oh, what a sweet deal. So have you seen these like silicone cups? They're not made out of glass. They're not plastic. They're just kind of like squishy, but they're cups.
No,
I don't think I have. No.
Anyway, I was like, these seem new. I saw them and I was like, these are kind of cool. And they weren't that expensive. So I bought like 4 of them. And then I saw a Cavs hat and I was like, you know, I haven't bought a bit of Cavs gear in a while. And I liked the hat, right? It had the C with the sword through it logo, which, you know, I'm a fan of. It was like a red. And I think it was like red with like a blue bill or something. So I pick it up.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I check out, you know, the receipt is for like $150, right? Like, I was buying groceries and I bought a couple other things, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get home, take the bags out of the Tesla, right? And I'm going through it. The hat has one of those like theft prevention things attached to it.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, it's in a bag, right? Like the person put it in a bag with the theft prevention thing on it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is simple enough, right? Just bring it back with the receipt, get them to remove it, right?
You think?
Okay.
But here's where the plot thickens. I look at the receipt. It's not on there. So
okay.
Now you're a criminal.
Right? I was going to ask you guys, am I a criminal? Did I steal that hat?
No. I mean, I think stealing requires intent.
Okay.
The word stealing requires intent.
And they literally put it in the bag for me. It's their fault. But like,
sure.
But here's the question now. Do I take that hat back there with the receipt that does not have record of me paying for it on it and ask them to remove the thing? I can't do that because I didn't pay for it.
No, that's probably not the best idea. That's a bad look.
Right? So like, what is the way forward here, Donovan? Like, do I just take the L? Do I go back and buy the same hat just so I feel better as a person?
And then leave it there?
You just find a guy in a Canton alleyway that'll remove it for $5.
I don't know if you've been in Canton alleyways lately, man. Like, I don't want to go there, man. Like, that's a bad idea. But you understand why I don't steal. Like, that's not my bag. I've never been about that life.
Yeah, I mean, as a minority, I would not walk into a store with an item that I didn't pay for that also was not on the receipt that I had.
Right? I'm just saying, like, that sounds insane to me to try to do that. So I'm just like, should I just walk around wearing it as is?
I mean, I also wouldn't do that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel very conflicted about this, guys. So I thought I'd bring it up at the beginning of the show. Maybe by the end of the show, we'll have a resolution for this.
Maybe go back to the store, but keep the hat in your car and then go in and be like, and
explain what happened.
And if they're like weird about it, just leave and just take the L. But they're like, oh no, bring it in. Like we'll
here's the
we'll take it
problem.
off. Then
This
you're
is
okay, I
like
got it.
this is not just like a store. This is like the grocery store that I go to, like the one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's
and it's like, I don't know. There's another one in town, but there's like 3 of these or 4 of these in town. I would say this is like the second best one, and it's also the closest one to me. It's also the closest one to the office. So I'm just like, I don't know what to. I'm just gonna act like I never got the hat and it just doesn't exist. I might just put, I have that Darth Vader with all the hats and my badges from traveling the world.
Yep.
I may just put the hat on there and just just take the L. I feel bad. I don't even want to name the grocery store, but I feel bad. But also, it's not my fault.
It's not your fault.
It's the cashier's fault.
You had no malintent. I would say you're good.
Maybe I should find a white person and have them do it for me.
David Craddock, we need you.
He would be perfect. No one would think like David would. I wouldn't rob a place either, but if you look at David, you're like, David's not out here trying to rob a grocery store. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, David, if you're listening, I have a special request from our long reads editor. There you go. That's how you start a show.
Freaking cold open security.
You're listening to Shack Together, a Shack News video game podcast where if you're not together, you're a listener. I'm your host, Asif Khan, and today I'm not joined by my co-host, John Benjamin, who is out there fighting the good fight in the metaverse. But I am joined by our producer, Joe Stasio.
Hello.
And news editor, Donovan Erskine.
What's up?
Oh, hey. You need to edit this, man. It's still telling me to ask John what he's been playing. I'm guessing John's been playing Fortnite, though. But Donovan, since you're our guest, and I think this is this your second or third time on the podcast? I think
third.
Third.
This is number 3, yeah.
Joining TJ in that rarefied air. So what have you been playing lately?
A lot of MultiVersus. Just came out finally for real this time. I've been
enjoying it for real?
That. Yeah, this is 1.0.
Okay.
Now you're making me doubt it.
No, it's out. No, it's really out. No, I'm just saying, like, man, the condition it's in, it doesn't feel like a game that's been worked on for 2 years with polish. It feels like a Warner Brothers joint.
Yeah, I think one of many interesting things about MultiVersus is that, yes, it was offline for years, they worked on it, but something to note here is that they didn't, take the beta version of that game. We're talking about the platform fighter from Warner Brothers games and Player First Games for folks that may not know. They didn't just take the beta version of that game and go, all right, let's finish this. They rebuilt that game in a new engine. So there was a lot of from scratch stuff that they did in that year, which is why I would assume now there are a lot of small things missing, like the post-match stats or the ability to change your character between rematches. I don't think that they went all right, delete button, let's get that out of the game. I think that when they just rebuilt this thing in UE5, there were oversights. There were several oversights that their player base is now reminding them of. But I'll agree, it feels too half-baked for a game that was put back in the oven for a year. I'm still enjoying it, though.
I can't help but look at it through the lens of this is another David Zaslav joint, the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery. And look back at last year's fighting game that they released, Mortal Kombat 1, and it could have used 6 more months in the oven kind of thing. And I'm wondering if that's the same here with MultiVersus, because, okay, fine, it's buggy, fine. There's some issues with, the servers, fine, they're scaling up, but you're going to see that. But not having post-game stats in a fighting game is so weird. That's one where I'm like, that isn't we forgot. That feels like something that was scope limitation or something, there was a deadline that they had to hit and there was a decision made that, okay, we'll hit that after we launch kind of thing.
I have to imagine
Yeah.
there was a lot of scrutiny on player first games because obviously you're not making money while you're developing a game, but it was out. Like the beta version of that game had microtransactions. People bought skins and battle passes and stuff. So for your income on your game to go from something to zero for a year, especially we know what Zaslav has done to in development WB projects. I was starting to think this game wasn't even going to live. So I don't know. I imagine a world where Tony at Player First was like, we need another 6 months for this game. I don't think it comes out. I don't know if they would have been afforded another 6 months of quiet, no income development, because at that point you're looking at 18 months.
Well, their company is so focused on live service games that I think that they kind of hitched their wagon to MultiVersus in a lot of ways. But yeah, I don't want to hate on, like, Player First Games is a small game studio, and they're given this very daunting task of making a Smash-like with Warner Brothers IP. So I don't want to hate on them too much. I do want to say that, like, it looks better. All the character models are better.
Yeah.
The sound design is still really good. I enjoy the music in the game. Some of the levels, I don't know, man. The Mojo Jojo level with the laser beam on one side of it, I kind of hate when the environment of a level can kill you in like a platform fighter. Yeah. And that level is like that. It kind of reminds me of one of those Pokemon levels, like in the old school Smash, you know, with the ball that would explode at random times.
Yeah.
So it's not like other platformers don't have this, but I tend not to like those levels. And I feel that way about that one. It also just feels like there are some characters that are just flat out broken right now. And that's going to happen too. But like you're seeing really funny, like bordering on infinite combos with Bugs Bunny and LeBron James right now. Yeah, Joe, TV's LeBron James is in this game.
You said TV's LeBron James?
Yeah. Film and TV's LeBron James.
Oh, film and TV. Okay, I was going to say, I only know him. Yes, I only know him from Space Jam personally, but
yeah, Space Jam 2. That one.
Right.
The best version of LeBron, right?
I've never seen it, so.
Oh, no. It's very bad, Joe. I'm talking Apple Maps bad.
My kids got like 7 minutes in and walked away.
Your kids are awesome.
Yeah, I know.
Your kids are awesome. That's all I gotta say. 7 minutes. They heard
something like that.
The whole nonsense with LeBron telling his kid that video games are not a good use of time. Like, what was that storyline, Donovan? Well, anyway,
yeah.
I digress. Come back to Cleveland. But yeah, there's like, I saw this one where he was juggling like 4 different basketballs and just beating the crap out of someone with them. There's a combo with Bugs Bunny where he calls the Acme safe in, and it's like a 0 to 600 damage combo that can be done right now. And really, to get someone out in this game, it's kind of like Smash, right? The higher the number, the more likely you are to fly off the level. So like 100, 150 is usually the level at which someone will go flying off the level. So to get someone up to 600 damage is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So I've seen videos of like 2 Bugs Bunnies playing at the same time, and it's a mess. So I don't know. Like, I feel bad for them because they really do have to juggle. They're gonna have to prioritize things here, right? Like, is it fighting balances, or is it patching, or is it server side stuff, or is it adding these features that people want, like being able to change your fighter in between rematches and stuff? So I feel for them because they really are in a tough spot, I would say, with having to make some decisions as to where to go next.
Yeah, I think to their credit, they've been very communicative on social media, which is always cool to see. I think that there was probably a good call. I know people were upset about this too, but probably a good call to not launch with ranked mode active. It's on the like gameplay option selections, but it's like coming soon. I think that affords them the ability to kind of focus on getting the game feature complete, because I think if you launch with a ranked mode and people are doing 0 to 600% damage bugs, then you have a much more immediate issue. But I don't know. I think they can kind of create a hierarchy with their current setup.
Also, we have to mention that they did change something. I think it's pretty material. You used to be able to try a character for free before buying them. and now you can't do that.
Yeah, the
Wow.
training mode used to let you use all of the characters for free. That's another thing that they were like very quickly on social media, like, that's coming, we're gonna revert that. But it's just like, why? Why was that not like that when the game
That
released in 1.0?
it's because they want you to pay. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure if these numbers are accurate. This was just someone that I saw complaining on Twitter, but it seems like they did the math to unlock the 6,000 currency you would need for Joker to unlock Joker. Like, if you just grind in the game, you would have to play for 77 hours.
Right.
And that's that's absurd.
It is absurd. I'm also of two minds on this because I believe, one, that was calculated only using the like online matchmaking queue. Like, I believe in the replies, this person was like, I don't want to play the PvE mode. And it's like, that's fair. But
Okay.
you present it as if like you're being forced with no other option, because they do give you very minimal gains from online matchmaking. I think it's like 5 currency and you need like 200 to unlock a character.
Okay. So it's cool. That's still gonna take a while though, because if you're it's 6,000, right? So if you, let's say 6,200, that's 30 matches in Rift, and those are all like.
Well, I don't know what they give you. That's online mode is where they give you like 5 a match. I think the Rift gives you a much larger sum.
Okay.
The PvE stuff. But,
okay, well, at least there's another option. I do have to say that, like, some of the Rift stuff, we streamed this on Tuesday. Some of the Rift stuff was interesting. I found the when they shoehorned in that one like shooting mini game,
shooting gallery,
I was like, this is dumb. But the Rift mode, it kind of feels like World of Light in Ultimate, or even like, I wouldn't say Subspace Emissary. That's like a very special thing that Brawl had. But yeah, it feels like the equivalent of that for this game.
Yeah.
Which is nice, because I'm not much of a. I don't know. I like playing this thing competitive multiplayer. Like, I'll play 1v1 or whatever, but it's a better game to play with friends, and having like a co-op PvE kind of option is cool.
Agreed.
That's cool. So you also reviewed Killer Klowns from Outer Space for us this week.
Yes, I did, which is from Ilphonic. It's the newest asymmetrical multiplayer game based on a horror IP. Last year we got Texas Chainsaw Massacre from Gun Interactive, who actually worked with Ilphonic on the now dead Friday the 13th game, which for my money is arguably still the best one in this genre. I think it's the one I've had the most fun playing.
Don't let Greg Burke hear that.
I know Greg's a big Ilphonic guy in general. They name dropped him multiple times when I met them at PAX. But he also loves their Ghostbusters game they put out a couple years back as well.
Spirits Unleashed is actually quite good.
I've heard good things. Yeah, it's we talk about like AA games kind of like not existing really anymore. It's one of like the few companies consistently making like that mid-tier budget AA kind of video games. And Killer Klowns is fun. I don't have an affinity for that IP. I know that that's become like a cult classic horror franchise. You go to cons, you'll see people dressed up as the characters from that movie.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's polished. I can tell it is. They have iterated on that formula very well. Like, they have refined those mechanics very well. This one is 3v7, which I guess differentiates it from some of those. I know that that's the more recent asymmetrical games have kind of played with that format of how many do you put on the good guys and bad guys side. And as you know, if you're a clown, you've got abilities that unlock every handful of minutes. I believe it might be a 5-minute interval or maybe less throughout a match. You can turn humans into cotton candy cocoons like in the movie and hook them to stations and whatnot. They do a good job at adapting the different like characters and items and weapons from the movie for the game. It all fits very well, like the popcorn gun and the cotton candy and whatnot. I thought was all pretty cool.
I was gonna say the character models look like awesome in this game. They took a lot of care to make sure that like they really did stay true to the IP, like the source material. And I love when I see stuff like that. And that's like to your point, that like rabid fan base that loves this series is gonna really appreciate stuff like that, I think. But it looks good. I think that's important. So you're 3 clowns versus 7 people or survivors?
Correct, yes. And obviously, as a survivor, you're trying to find an escape. You can get on a boat or unlock a gate and get out. You got to like find items and resources, and you have weapons. Something cool this game does is when humans die, because you're permanently dead as a human once you do get killed, you can gift items to the surviving players. So I one time was like running around as one of the last few survivors, and then like a baseball bat just appeared in my inventory, and I got like a little notification. It was like, this player just gifted you a baseball bat. Uh, that's cool. They give you a reason to stick around, because I know that's another problem in those games is like people will get eliminated and they'll just disconnect. They're like, I'm out of here. I'm not watching the last 5 minutes of this match. They'll just go queue into the next one.
Sure.
So I thought that was a clever mechanic to get people to stick around and still feel like they're involved when they get killed. My issues with this kind of come down to my issues with every asymmetrical multiplayer game. I feel the movement of the survivors just feels very clunky. I think in the review, I liken it to driving a car in a video game. Just the way they move does not feel right at all. Especially when you're like sprinting and then you try to come to a stop and then they keep sprinting for too long, which has consequence because you make a louder sound when you sprint. And then they have like an old over the shoulder camera, which in theory is really cool because you hit the button, you see behind you, and it's like, oh shit, there's a clown running up on me. But it is literally an over the shoulder camera. Like the camera goes over your right shoulder, and I get it's supposed to be immersive, but it's a very distorted view because it blocks off like half of what's actually behind you, which just is not very practical. So I have issues with that stuff. And then also I just think the matches are too long. It's a 15-minute timer. In every game I've played so far, there's like a 3-minute stretch where regardless of which side I'm on, I'm like just walking in circles, waiting for something to happen. Out of options, trying to figure out what's going on. And they definitely have done that because I think they want there to be that like pendulum momentum swinging feel to matches, which is there. But also every match I felt like, I'm like, this could have been 4 minutes shorter.
So like
better.
when you say the matches are too long, do you think it's a function of the level design, or like what do you think? Is it a timer thing? Like what do you think led to that?
I think it's just as simple as the timer. Maybe I'm ignorant in saying that, but I think they literally just made the timer 3 or 4 minutes shorter. I would enjoy it more. And again, I get why, because it's one of those things where if you get off to a bad start on either side, it feels bad if you don't feel like you have an opportunity to recover and you just kind of get owned for the next 10 minutes and then you lose. So they give you time to come back, but I don't know. It just felt a little long for me.
Like it's really hard to get that right in games. I think that the Gears franchise early on was really good at that, where like in the Warzone mode, you could be down to like 1v5 and you still had a chance. But yeah, I think a lot of games try to get that feeling, or even in like old school Halo days, right? Like 1v4, you could still come back. Yeah. I think when it comes to asymmetric games, I end up just hiding in a box. I mean, there's like something dumb, and then you're right. That tends to drag things out a bit. But yeah, pacing. I think that's a tough thing to nail. Do you think they were gonna add like other modes? Maybe like, do you think like a smaller, maybe like 1v3 or something would be
cool.
Faster?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. They've already said they plan to do post-launch content, which makes sense given their track record. They kind of have a history of supporting these games pretty consistently for about a year-ish. Greg will tell you that he wants more Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed content. And then eventually they do move on to the next project. They're usually very clear and open about that. So, yeah, it'd be cool if they threw some new modes in there. I'm sure at the very least they'll add new characters and maps and stuff.
And then is this crossplay?
Yes, okay. I believe so.
I was going to say, this is dead on arrival if it's not, but I think they've done Ilphonic has done a pretty good job of that in recent history. So that's good to hear they're still doing that. Like you already have a live service game. You need to open it up to as many possible players. That's good to hear. Awesome. Well, that doesn't sound like too bad of a game. So yeah, maybe folks at home, you got an 8 out of 10 here at Shack News. So that's a very good game. Joe, what have you been playing?
Hey, short and sweet. I've been playing Animal Well, which I am keen to hear your new thoughts on. I'm at the end game there.
Nice.
Great game. 9 out of 10 on the Joe scale, which is
very high.
An oasis in a desert of 2024 games for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. I now want all Metroidvanias to look to this game because I am so sick of swinging a 2D sword. Prince of Persia, I'm looking at you. Overrated.
Damn. We have the guy who reviewed
yeah.
The Lost Crown right here.
Wow.
I did. I like the game a lot. I thought it was great.
That's okay. And also you're in good company. So I know I'm an outlier. No, you know what it is? Forget like, perfectly competent execution on Prince of Persia. No particular shade there, but it is, I think you'd even admit, right? Like pretty standard fare in terms
formulaic.
Of yeah,
sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And as someone who's like not keen on the genre at large, I think it all makes sense. And if you are a Metroidvania lover, then you're probably going to be more amenable to seeing, something that's sort of like of the standard ilk. Animal Well is its own weird thing, and when you get a new ability or a new tool in Animal Well, man, your mind opens. It is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I still have more to get, which is baffling. Yeah, I'm in love with this thing. Love it. I'm getting it reminds me of Celeste, and it's not just the look of it, but just that same like really I think this game's harder than Celeste for what it's worth.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it is harder than Celeste.
Yeah, it's very, very challenging. I am having trouble.
And Celeste is hard as hell. That's a very difficult game.
Yeah. But the backtracking, I think, is what does me in.
Mm-hmm.
Animal has backtracking that Celeste does not have.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm rambling a bit. Big fan. And I will just mention for Sam Chandler's sake that I've completed my 3-body read. The trilogy is in the bag.
Nice.
And talk about opening your mind like Animal. Wow. That's a head scratcher in a good way. It scratches an itch you don't know you have, like makes you think about stuff. It's very cool. Yeah, that's me. Asif, tell me about what you're playing, including Animal Well. How has your opinion changed, if at all?
Okay, so as of last episode, I'd only played maybe 10 minutes of Animal Well, and I was just getting frustrated early on. So here's what I want to say about Animal Well. It's a puzzle game.
Yes.
It is not a Metroidvania. It's a puzzle game. And it's almost a single screen platform puzzle game. And I like that. I will say that the part where it did look like a Metroidvania to me, where I did roll my eyes and I did nope out of it over the weekend. So like you told me, give it 90 minutes. So far, Joe, I've given it probably, if you ignore the first 10 minutes that I played a few weeks ago, I've probably played it for about an hour. I gave it 30 minutes on Friday night, 30 minutes on Saturday night. And I want to explain why I stopped playing it on Saturday night. Because it did that thing. It did that thing that Metroidvanias do that pissed me off. So this is mild spoilers early on in this game, but there's like a disc that you get from a statue, right?
Yes.
And then you have to, later on, you find a thing that you could replace the disc with.
Indiana Jones style, some would say.
Sure. It's the time between knowing that I needed that thing to finding the thing that I needed, and during that time not having a single place to save and losing like, I don't know, a good 15 minutes of progression just because I died. I hate that. So it's like, I love the single screen platform puzzle aspect of this game now. I really do like it. I'm seeing it and I'm enjoying it. And even how, like Celeste, it can be a multi-screen kind of puzzle, right? Where it's like, okay, you have to go over here, do this thing, and then come back over here. And yes, you're right, there is backtracking that I don't necessarily like, but I do like how the environment and the items and just the flow of how you traverse through the levels, it doesn't feel like I'm backtracking. Like sometimes you're going back and you're like above where you were, or you're underneath where you were, kind of thing. Yeah. Like it's never a perfectly straight line,
sure,
going back and forth. And I think that's what makes it more charming than a lot of other Metroidvanias, is that they do these little things to make you feel like, okay, this is actually a little different. And then there's some really just cool platform puzzles. This one that like I'm sure there's more that I'll learn about this, but like how light and dark affect the game is really interesting. And I think that's how that there are platform puzzles where like I don't know, there's like these three birds or something that you're like jumping on, and like you have to jump at this perfect time where one of them's invisible. I like stuff like that. And I think I can see where it's going on that front with the contrast of light and dark. I think that's a really cool thing. So yeah, I'm warming up to it.
It's funny that you bring that example up because I just hit that room that you just described, and I'm 15 hours in or something, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I've heard on some other shows I've listened to, some of the hosts will describe the open-ended nature. Like you can go in like four directions when the game starts. And I rolled my eyes a little bit. I'm like, I'm sure it's funneling you a little bit. Maybe not.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, it's impressive because that means that there's legitimately, probably 3 to 4 ways to solve some of the stuff. Like, as in like,
yeah,
you and I obviously went different paths with different tool sets. And when I make comparisons to Prince of Persia, like that's what I mean. Like the standard formula, I'm not going to make maybe such a broad sweeping claim, but like the standard Metroidvania formula would be like this door requires X tool, and that is really not how this game is built. And I think that's why it is so interesting.
Yeah, it also doesn't. It's not like Doom where you find the red door and then you're like, oh, I need the red key. It's more just like, here's a door. Oh, here's a key. Oh, I guess I could use this key in this door. It's never, I must find the key. It's just, oh, I found the key kind of thing. Totally. I do like the chest mechanic and like how Animal Well does this really good job of showing you something that you're going to want or something that you want already when you see it, but you're unable to get to it. Right, it does this very good job of like putting a carrot in front of you, which is why like I really do think it's I find it to be a puzzle platformer more than I do a Metroidvania. At least that's how I'm looking at it. I agree that there are Metroidvania elements to it, and that's probably my least favorite part. But because I got the freaking replacement disc, and I was on my way back to the other thing, and then I freaking died, and I lose like 15 minutes. So I said, screw it. I'm done with this game. I threw it down and I said, I'm going to go play a good game, F-Zero 99. And I know everyone at home shocked that I played F-Zero 99.
Yep. Crowd goes wild. Yep.
Literally, though, within 30 minutes of rage quitting out of Animal Well on Saturday, I won another race.
Crazy.
This time,
amazing.
Classic mode.
Hell yeah.
And I got to say, guys, I've said this on the last few episodes. I am deadly at this game now. Like, I've unlocked a different level of gameplay, but you put me in classic mode, that, like, if we're talking games, I was like 10 or 12 years old when F-Zero came out for SNES. So I had a lot of free time on my hands. If we're talking about hours played in games, I think F-Zero for SNES, I probably have like 500 to 1,000 hours in that game, just from like long time ago. So playing classic mode, it feels like I'm back in that era. The muscle memory's there. I know every track. It mechanically feels so different from the F-Zero 99 mode. The cars are heavier. You don't really float around as much. The turns are sharper. And obviously my vehicle, the Fire Stingray, it's not the worst. It's actually the best in classic mode. So it's been this nice reprieve from like being the underdog in F-Zero 99 mode to now I'm kind of the front runner. So yeah, I had this awesome race on Big Blue, won on the last lap. Yeah, it's been great. And I am just kind of playing that middle mode now. So whatever the special mode is for whatever's going on at the time, I'm playing it. So yeah, I had a third place finish on Port Town 2 last night. I think I'm gonna that was in F-Zero 99 mode. So yeah, I do think I've been playing, there's one of these special modes called Pro Tracks. So it's just harder F-Zero 99 levels. So Firefield or later in the Grand Prix kind of tracks, or harder. And then last night I played Red Canyon 2 Mirror Track, and it's I think it might be my favorite level. It's got so many sweet jumps. Like literally the first 5 seconds of the track, sweet jump. And then like right around the corner, another sweet jump. They took the sweet jump for Red Canyon 2 and they made it even crazier by like cutting it in half. And then there's this even weirder one where you can shortcut like a 90-degree turn by taking yet another sweet jump. And I posted a clip to our Discord here so you guys could see it. But yeah, like the level design on some of these mirror tracks is very inspired and cool. So kudos to the devs. I was a little on edge when they introduced these, but now I'm really loving them. So yeah, another great week playing my favorite video game ever. And yeah, it's been nice because like I had these 1,503 races in the F-Zero 99 mode, and now I'm like playing these other modes. I will say that it is easier to win classic mode in the sense that there are only 19 other racers, right? So it's 20. But I've said it before, the people playing these special modes, they're like the best players in the world. So it's the competition is fierce, even if it's less people.
You're doing it.
But yeah, loving it. Loving the game still. And yeah, it's just funny because yeah, I was playing that one mode for months. Now I'm like, oh wow, this game has a lot of variety. It's like it's had a lot of variety, and they've added a lot of modes since I started playing it. So yeah, it's been great. Love it. Highly recommend it. It comes with Nintendo Switch Online. So yeah,
sick.
That's 3 wins now. If you're counting at home, it's 3 wins. I have a win in F-Zero 99 mode. I have a win in Team mode, and I have a win in Classic mode. So I'm coming for you, Mini Pre. I'm coming for you, Grand Prix, and I'm coming for you, Classic Mini Pre.
You know what? And if you're not counting at home, what are you doing?
Yeah, right. For real. I'm still playing Vampire Survivors. That game has its like hooks right back in me.
Nice.
I'm grinding, trying to get all the Contra characters in the DLC unlocked. I played like a boss battle in one of the levels, so that was cool. You have to like go to a specific place at a specific time in the level to trigger it. But yeah, I thought that was cool as hell because it was like a straight up Contra boss battle. So that's neat. Yeah, love it. Highly recommend the Operation Guns DLC. I'm going to be pounding the table for best add-on this year. And then yeah, I've also been playing MultiVersus, streamed it with Donovan on Tuesday. I'm playing it once a day, like I'm doing my dailies and stuff. I'm a fan of platform fighters. Like I liked Brawlhalla. I like Rivals of Aether. I'm obviously a Smash fan, or at times, at least in moderation. But the thing that I like most about MultiVersus is that I can play online and not want to blow my brains out. And that's something Nintendo has not been able to do yet in that franchise over at Smash. But yeah, it has a lot of flaws. It really does. So I hope they fix them. But for what it is, I'm enjoying it. And I know Donovan and we already talked about it. Yeah. And then I just want to mention this. I still have the Rabbit R1, and I'm going to try this thing out later today, probably. But they added a new feature to this AI handheld device that they're calling the Magic Camera. So they take their computer vision camera, and now they're letting you take photos. But wait, there's more. The AI inserts like a 3D model of a rabbit in your photo.
How cool.
Like what are we doing?
I don't know, man. This is certainly we're really I don't know, we're breaking new ground in solving problems that don't exist here. I did say when I had the device though, I was like, this is stupid. I should be able to take photos. I didn't say I should be able to take photos that are then that then have rabbit 3D models inserted. I just wanted to take a picture.
See, you should have been more specific. I think that one might be on you.
Rabbit paw curled when I asked for it.
Yeah, exactly.
God. So what should I ask for next? And how specific do I need to be?
That's the thing. You'll never know until we're done.
I want to send text messages with this thing. Oh, wait, no. It doesn't even have a keyboard I can use. Never mind. I want a keyboard that I can use.
Yeah, good
Rabbit
luck.
paw curls. Anyway,
Good
so yeah,
luck.
I don't know. I don't consider playing it, but it's a thing, and I find it amusing. So yeah, those are the things I've been playing. But yeah, F-Zero 99 definitely took up a lot of my time, and like the way that I've been playing games at night is like if I'm in the mood, I'll play Animal Well for like 30 minutes, and then when that game inevitably pisses me off, because
Mhm.
it's a lot like Celeste in that way, Joe, where I get like so freaking frustrated. I'm just like, nope, I'm done. And then I like take that rage and I take it out on all of my F-Zero 99 opponents. So yeah.
Well, good.
Anyway, that's
You
what
have
I've
an
been
outlet.
playing.
You have a good outlet.
I do. So that's what I've been playing.
Nice. Well, great. That means that we now have some room to dive into a fun little segment if you're ready.
Yeah, sure.
Heck yeah.
Who doesn't love a fun little segment?
Here we go. Sorry to disappoint everyone, but we're not going to play a game today, really. This is more of we're playing a game with ourselves. We've done predictions on Shack Together in the past. We're going to do a few more predictions today. But today will be a little different in that you won't have to wait a whole year to see if we're right.
This is more
Let's
like
call it
2 weeks.
Yeah, I put prior to September. So,
Okay.
because Summer Games Fest we're not in E3 land anymore. So like, there might be some Ubisoft showcase in July for all I know. I don't know.
No. They're doing theirs in June. But why it's smart to do this is you're including opening night live and PAX. I guess not PAX. Maybe
and
PAX.
Gamescom, right?
That's what I mean. Opening night live is the God Emperor Jeff's show for Gamescom.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm so smart.
But I don't know. Does this include PAX? Like, are we talking PAX West here, or is it prior to September?
So like through the end of August.
Okay.
But I mean, whatever. Okay. We could change the rules right now. Whatever you think.
No, that's fine. Let's not include PAX.
Yeah, let's keep it summer.
Yeah.
Okay. So with all that said, I have a list here of announcements that I came up with, but it's not, this is a team effort. I know Donovan has a announcement or two he can contribute. Asif, you're welcome to do the same. But I'm going to read a couple announcements, and we're going to see how we all feel about their plausibility. So, for example, we'll just do the first one. I've written here, Cyberpunk sequel or DLC announced. So for me, I'm going to say that's not going to happen.
No
way in hell.
Okay, we have 3 no's. I put this list together based on, trying to see like what are other people talking about in terms of some SGF predictions, and this one came up a shocking amount. Cyberpunk sequel. I mean, we just got Phantom Liberty.
Yeah.
There's 7 months ago, whatever. I don't know what it was.
And they're working on Witcher 4. There is no way they're working on a Cyberpunk sequel. They're working on Witcher 4.
It's one of those things where they have confirmed that there will be a Cyberpunk sequel. I believe it's called Project Orion. They've confirmed that it's a thing that exists.
Sure.
They will make, but the proper actual reveal is not going to happen for several more years.
I think it's just they're going to be on a Witcher PR tour before they are a Cyberpunk one. And definitely. It's for the best interest of the company to just make another Witcher. And they already announced it. So, yeah. Witcher 4 before that. Mm-hmm. And look, the Phantom Liberty was quite good. So it's not like it would be a bad thing, but I doubt that we're getting 2 years back to back of DLC. That was a big ass release last year.
Yep.
And they've spent 4 years fixing the damn game too. So yeah.
I think it would be very funny if we're all dead wrong.
Yeah.
And they like show a logo or something.
Cyberpunk 2078.
Boom.
Yes. Coming in 2035.
Yeah.
Cool. What do you guys think about Metroid Prime 2 and 3 hitting the Switch this year?
Yeah.
That's plausible. I could see that.
That's definitely happening. What else do they have?
I know. So the rules will be enforced as such that we will know about this release before September.
I think we're gonna know about by before July. I think it's gonna be at the June
I think
Direct.
you're right. I think we have three. Yeah, we have 3 yeses here. Okay.
Yeah, I think we're getting it at the June Direct though.
Dragon Age 4 release date.
Maybe.
Release date? No.
Will we get a release date for Dragon Age 4? It's been 10 freaking years since the last game came out.
No. Has EA announced the EA Play yet or anything? Are they not doing it?
I don't think they are, no.
Yeah, they're not doing it.
I'm sure those stuff will be they'll have stuff with Jeff. Yeah.
Donovan, what's your answer, man?
He said yeah.
I was saying maybe, but I'll go yeah.
Okay, I thought you said
yeah. I think so. I think so too. I think they have to. This is ridiculous.
Now, does it meet that date? It's a different question, but
okay, that's a different. Yeah, that's next year's prediction episode. Yeah, you're jumping the gun. Will we hear a whiff before September about new hardware from Xbox?
We hear a whiff, yes. I think they will say something at their showcase next week. The weekend, a few days.
Does this didn't they make like a white Xbox Series X or something? Like, does that count? They announced
it, but that got.
Are you saying
that? Let's be more specific. That's totally fair. Will we hear about a meaningful new piece of hardware? So like not a new paint job, not a new like this one has more storage.
Okay.
No, like something
like a full refresh or something.
Yeah. Well, like what's the next Xbox? Is there going to be some handheld thing? I am not counting like a new. It would have to be like a brand new controller, like something different.
Yeah. I'm gonna say no. Here's why. The guy who makes the guy who led their hardware division for like 25 years just quit. And I doubt he would have quit if he was about to launch something new.
Or announce. We're playing the game of announcements, so who knows?
Yeah, whatever. But like, I think that there is hardware being worked on at Microsoft for Xbox. I do think they're going to make a Nintendo Switch Steam Deck kind of competitor, but I don't think we're going to hear about it this year because they don't have anything. So
yeah, I think I'll roll with that as well.
You're going to roll with no?
Yeah, I'll say no.
Yeah, we got 3 no's here. Okay. Metroid Prime 2 and 3 we talked about. What about Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD? Will that hit the Switch? Will they announce a 2024 release date for those games?
What do you think?
I'm going to say no. I don't think so. That might be a next generation Nintendo thing.
Yeah, I agree with Donovan. I'm going to say no, and it's because they already did this for Wii U in 1080p, and that the next time we see Wind Waker, it'll be in glorious 4K on Super Nintendo Switch, and John Benjamin will die of happiness.
Wow. Rip.
Yep. I know.
Okay.
It'll be a happy death, though. We'll all be happy for him, but yeah.
Yes. Elation leading to the end.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm with you guys. Yeah. Because they've had the opportunity to do this for that reason alone.
Should have done it years ago if you were going to do it. They should have done it with the lead up to Tears of the Kingdom. You know, when they re-released Skyward Sword, they could have released those 3 together.
Right.
But no. Yeah, I don't know. Nintendo is they're weird about this. So, like when they decide to do a remake versus when they don't, or when they decide to do an HD remaster and when they don't. It's usually to promote future games. So like to me, it's like I don't think we're gonna get a Zelda, like a 3D Zelda game for like 8 years. I mean a new like Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild style. I don't think we're gonna get one for like 8. So
it's been 3D Mario has now been 7 years. So yeah, that's how they're rolling.
We got Bowser's Fury. We did get Bowser's Fury.
It was tiny though.
Don't forget Bowser's Fury.
I did forget. You're right that I forgot about it.
It's an excellent little game there. But yeah, you're right.
It's an excellent little game.
Oh, sorry. Just real quick. Have you seen this Mario Maker 64 shit? It looks amazing. Like someone hacked, they made together like a ROM hack of Mario 64, but it's like with building mechanics, so you can make levels in it. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Crazy.
No, I haven't seen that. That's sick.
Take notes, Nintendo. And also, if you know how to get that running on a computer, just message me and let me know how, because I don't know how to get it to work. I want to do it. I just don't know. I don't even know how to get it to work. But anyway, sorry.
The number one most common prediction, and also, most people saying this, I think,
It's
are
a
more so
meme at this
wishing
point.
it. Yeah, it's a meme. They're wishing it into existence. Will Jeff Keighley say, and it's available right now? That's right, Silk Song.
Oh,
Will we get a
gosh.
Silk Song shadow drop?
Oof,
at Summer
Shadow
Games
Drop?
Fest?
No. I do think you'll see it, though. It will not surprise me at all if they finally give a proper release date to it or something, but Shadow Drop? I don't know.
I do think it's a game that could shadow drop and it wouldn't hurt its sales at all.
I kind of want to say yes.
I mean, it's a fun prediction. That'd be pretty hype if they did that. I would not be upset to be wrong about that.
So this is specifically saying that God Emperor Jeff will bestow this upon us in the next week.
Well, let's put it this way, right? I'm given that September window, but if there were going to be a shadow drop, there are a couple opportunities.
Yeah.
Jeff, Nintendo, potentially.
Xbox.
I doubt it on Xbox. That just doesn't feel plausible.
But also, like, you guys realize, like, we're talking about Team Cherry here. This is not a high budget studio. Like, yeah, they had wild success with one game that's made them a lot of money. But I've met these developers. Do they feel like the kind of studio that would spend 6 figures on a Jeff Keighley presentation? I don't think so.
I don't think that I think that is a sliding scale for Jeff Keighley. I think he would extend grace when he wants to.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
I think it would depend on how high profile the thing is.
You think
Sure.
From Software paid him 2 years ago to be for that Elden Ring spot? Oh wow.
Yes. I have a different opinion on how Summer Game Fest works. But
I think you're right 90% of the time. There's gotta be special cases.
Yeah. When your best friend Hideo Kojima has a game to show. But I don't know. I just, yeah, you got to think of it. There's a business of the Summer Games Fest.
Of course.
And it ties into Opening Night Live and the Game Awards. It's a 3-show buy-in that costs up to $1 million.
Right.
So I
hypothetically speaking, if Rockstar was like, we want to premiere the gameplay trailer for GTA 6 at Summer Games Fest, I don't think there's no way in the world Jeff Keighley's like, all right, that'll be $600K. He'd be like, yes, please. Here's everything you need.
Yeah, sure. Okay. I guess that. Okay. So no, I don't think we're going to get a Silk Song shadow drop before September.
Man, I hope so. Okay, cool.
It would be cool, but also I say this every time we bring up Silk Song. Like, I haven't beaten the first game, and it's great.
Totally, same here.
I love the first game. It's like honestly one of the best. That's a great Metroidvania, and I love the art style. I love everything about that game. But no, I haven't beaten it, so like I'm not dying for Silk Song yet. But I know a lot of people are. I just don't think. I think that there's so much expectation behind this game. Like, there's 2 indie games. I guess 3. We see Hades 2 out there in the wild now, but there's 2 indie games where I think there's a ton of expectations built into their release. Silk Song and Earthblade, the extremely okay games next game, like the next game after Celeste for them. Those are like, they have a lot of expectations for indie studios. You know what I mean? And I think that they're going to take their sweet time with Silk Song to make sure it's ready. And yeah, like I don't know. It doesn't. Summer Jeff Fest doesn't feel like their vibe. Is all I'm saying. And yeah, like Nintendo, I'm sure would love it. Xbox, I'm sure would love it. I don't see it. I think they could be like a PAX announcement, or maybe they're even a Game Awards announcement later this year. That kind of thing.
We will know soon enough.
But yeah, I'm gonna say no.
Good
I would
points.
like for it to be true, but I don't think we're gonna.
Let's move on to this one of a similar flavor. Will we hear a whiff about Haunted Chocolatier, the Stardew Valley?
Oh, God, I wish.
Donald's like, please, please inject it into his veins.
That would make my Summer Game Fest, but sadly, I'm going to say no. If I'm being a betting man, I don't think we do.
Weren't they just working on like a Stardew Valley update like a few months ago?
Yeah, he's just came off the 1.6 update for Stardew, which I believe is still not on consoles yet. I think it's only on PC. so he's
And
tweeted updates on that periodically.
And that added the ability to drink milk, right?
It had the ability to drink mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise. Sorry.
Yeah, for the real sickos out there.
Wrong white liquid, my bad. Is mayonnaise a liquid?
I would say no. It's like a paste.
It's a paste?
Well, if you're a sicko, you can now drink it and start it.
These are the tough questions we ask on Shack Together. Anyway, Haunted Chocolatier looks great. So whenever it does come out, I'm excited. But yeah, I'm going to say no. Any sort of news. That's tough.
God, yeah. I wish, though. Would love to be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. FromSoft, next game announced before September.
Ooh. No, I think the Shadow of the Erd Tree is coming up towards the end of June. I think they'll take that victory lap for at least a couple of months.
Yeah, they don't want to steal the shine from their DLC.
If we were predicting Game Awards in December, I might be more inclined to say yes. But I think for at least those first few months, they'll be quiet. I don't think they'll be in a hurry to announce the next thing. They'll just let people talk about how good Shadow of the Erd Tree is for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I think Shadow of the Erd Tree, I don't think we can talk about it yet. But yeah, like it seems material in size. Like it's going to add a lot of stuff for people to do. So no, I don't think we're going to see a FromSoft game this year.
I think FromSoft moves quick. We got Rubicon, whatever that game was. What the heck was
Armored Core 6.
Armored Core.
Yeah.
You know, like there's stuff happens in quick succession at FromSoft.
So you're telling me we're going to get a new Metal Wolf Chaos?
Oh, man.
I would be
exquisite
so happy.
Timing.
That would be the best timing ever if they dropped a new Metal Wolf Chaos in the fallout of this presidential election. That would be outstanding.
Wow.
If they do that, they're getting Dev of the Year. I'm just saying that right now.
Mm-hmm.
That would be awesome.
I think it's possible. And they're not shy about, early logo drops with, vague cinematics. So I'm going to just say a cheeky yes on this one, personally. Okay. The last one I have on my list, and Donovan, I'm happy to pivot to your stuff, is Xbox Sweet. Cloud Gaming exits beta.
No.
Sure, maybe. It's just because of the nature of what betas are. Maybe Phil Spencer will say it on stage and it won't materially change anything. They'll just take the beta tag off of it when you load it up. But
yeah, here's my thinking. We are so thirsty for something to talk about. When I say we, I mean they. There's such a lull that this will be presented as an announcement. And it'll come with something, like it'll be some free trial for,
Perfect Dark.
Sure. Great. Perfect Dark. So yeah, something will be bundled with it to make this a stage-worthy announcement. Even though it is awfully hollow because the service is pretty decent.
I think you pair it with the announcement of their Nintendo Switch handheld copycat thing.
Right.
That's good.
But I don't think that's happening this year. So I'm going to say no. Also, they're clowns.
Well, that too, sure.
Like if they can just get through a presentation without tripping over their clown shoes, I'm going to give them an award. But yeah.
Low bar.
Yeah. That is where my bar is for them right now, man.
Donovan, what morsels did you bring for us?
Okay, yes. Got a handful here. Arguably the one I feel most confident about, I guess. Hazellight's new game will be announced. So the It Takes Two Joseph Fares studio.
Yeah.
It Takes Two famously winning Game of the Year at the Game Awards a couple of years back.
And also Joseph Fares being coked up yelling "fuck Hollywood" at the Game Awards.
It's an iconic Game Awards moment from several years ago, and he's buddies with Jeff, and we haven't heard from that studio in like just the right amount of time that it feels like they could announce their next thing.
Yeah,
this month.
I'm with Donovan. I think that's going to happen.
All right, some devil's advocate for you.
Okay.
On this would be: are they at all involved with the Brothers re-release?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, is that a remake or a remaster?
I want to say it's a remake.
Huh. That's a good question.
This is a question for me. I should be looking this up.
Oh wait, I think this is out.
Is it out?
Brothers, Tales of Sons.
Yes. It came out in February.
Yeah, this is out.
Did not get great reviews.
Says everything you need to know about that game.
Wow. Okay. Well, all right. So then that's not a blocker. There you go. Okay. I'm going to say yes as well. What else you
Okay.
got?
All right. So I know these are supposed to be predictions, but I realized my list turned more into a wish list, so I'm going to say them anyway. Square Enix teases Dragon Quest 12 again because they haven't talked about it in like 5 years. And I'm dying over here, man.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
just-
think that's a big stretch.
I just, just show me the logo again. Literally, just show me the logo again. I've been so patient.
Couldn't that be a? Oh, no, like if that game exists and is already in development, is that
It
coming
does.
out on the next Switch?
Yes.
Yeah,
So we
because
would-
it ain't coming
we're-
out this year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
we're some ways. There's been some reported turmoil.
They recently, and by recent I mean within like the last 7 days, made like a statement where they were like, "No, we're still working on it. It's not like canceled," because people were asking about that.
Yeah,
Because it's been so long. They've made like 5 Final Fantasies since they announced Dragon Quest 12, or since 11 came out in 2018.
Mhm.
So yeah, please. I've been so patient, Square Enix.
The reason I mentioned Switch 2 here is that it really felt like Square and Nintendo have kind of healed a lot of their wounds, and like Square enjoys announcing things at Switch events. So yeah, but no, it would
That'd
be
be awesome.
that would be a Switch 2 launch. Like, hey, Mr. Enix is on stage with Mr. Nintendo here to tell you everything. But yeah,
Yes. With the firmest
I'm gonna say
handshake.
no, just because I think it's a next year announcement.
That's fair.
But
That's fair.
I would also love to see that, because what the hell's going on? And also there's a Dragon Quest themed convenience store in Akihabara that you have to go to someday, Donovan. Like you have
Man,
to
I would
go
love
there.
that.
When you step in there, it plays like music from the game. Like
Oh,
it's
that's dope.
yeah, you would love that place.
God. Okay. Another one from my personal wish list. The first teaser for XCOM 3.
Yeah.
2K Games is an official partner, Summer Game Fest. They're on Jeff's big graphic he tweeted out like 2 weeks ago. It's been we're coming up on 2 years since Marvel's Midnight Suns, which famously underperformed. I'll never forgive everybody because that game was awesome, but still did not do well financially. XCOM is probably a sure bet. I'd be surprised if that wasn't Firaxis's next big game. More so a matter of when than if, but we can get a logo.
Okay, and there's no mention of XCOM 3 period yet?
No.
No, I mean, I believe I believe directors. I know Jake Solomon just left, but I know when he was there, he had said like it'll be a thing eventually. We will make it, but they have not announced that game.
I'm gonna say
yet.
no. This feels like a next year thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say no, because we haven't heard not a peep about that.
That's fair.
Are you in wish list or actually predicting?
I think that XCOM 3 tease is more likely than Dragon Quest, so I'll say no to Dragon Quest and yes to XCOM.
Okay.
But my next prediction is one I thought was a little fun. A new video game based on a horror movie is announced.
Yes, that's a yes.
So like any horror movie in history?
Any. Yeah.
Yeah, just any horror movie that exists. It can be something old,
Like,
new.
just look at this trend. It's probably going to be Ilphonics. But yeah, like, there's just...
Yeah, we're coming off Killer Klowns this year. Last year we had the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Greg Burke and I did an interview with Wes from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre team at Gun, and he told us that, like, I believe he said A Nightmare on Elm Street was on like his list of franchises he'd like to tackle. There's a trend there. We've had a Blair Witch game that was pretty bad a handful of years ago.
Oh, yeah.
When The Quarry came out, that game had David Arquette in it, who was Sheriff Dewey in Scream, and he said in an interview, he's like, that studio should make a Scream video game.
Yep.
Everybody got all hyped up about it. So
Yep.
there's a lot of IP out there that could still be mined. One of my personal wish lists, I've always wanted to see a proper Saw video game, like big budget Saw horror game. I think would be great.
Wow.
Yeah. Like a survival horror game in that universe.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
So you're like strapped to a table for like an hour in game. You're moving like a lockpick with your teeth or something.
Well, there's multiple characters in Saw.
Sure.
I think it would be very ripe for the super massive games choose your own adventure format, right? Where you just get like 6 characters in different parts of a warehouse. You just bounce between them each chapter, trying to like dig a key out of a
that's
cow's intestines or something.
Yeah, like a branching narrative game that involves like multiple characters. Yeah, I could see that.
All right, we're gonna say for this prediction that Dead by Daylight DLC does not count.
Correct. No. Yes. Yeah. DVD deals does not count. They've
has to be a new video game. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And let's each. I agree. This sounds perfectly plausible. Let's pick a movie too for bonus points.
Ooh. Okay. I'll be consistent with my personality and say Scream because that's my favorite horror movie series.
I'm gonna go with the most recent horror movie I've watched, Llamageddon.
Oh God.
I would love it. You know what? Please. Take the Deer Simulator dev and make a Llamageddon game.
That's the only way you'd get me into a Llamageddon game. It would have to be the folks behind that game.
Deer Simulator is funny and great. So yeah, if you give me Llamageddon by those people, I'm in. Joe, what horror movie are you thinking?
I just the other night watched The Invisible Man for the first time. So there's a 0% chance. Yeah, new one. 0% chance, but hey, I'm gonna write it.
I'd be down. I would be so down for a proper Invisible Man psychological horror video game.
That would be very scary. Very scary.
Oh yeah, it would. And my last prediction, kind of an extension of the last one, I suppose, given it's also horror related. Supermassive Games, the Until Dawn and the Query devs, they did the Dark Pictures anthology. Then they went on hiatus after the last one. They were like, we're going to be a little quiet for a bit. I know they were doing support development on a couple of projects. They said Dark Pictures is going to come back. Do you guys think they announced their next one this some point during SGF?
Too soon.
Too soon. It might be, honestly, because I think they're helping with Little Nightmares 3, which just got delayed the day we're recording this. But
I'm going to say no.
Okay, that's fair. I think I also say no.
Hey, that's cool. That's cool. Mm-hmm. Wow, thanks for Asif, do you want to pile on anything, or are you good?
I think we will see. I think we're gonna see updates on 2 Hideo Kojima Productions games in the next before September.
Okay, interesting.
So Death Stranding 2, and then whatever the hell he sold to Phil Spencer.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I think if you said 1, that'd be an easy yes for me because he has so many things in the works that we're bound to hear about one of them at least. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, I think updates on both, and yeah, I do think that'll happen.
Yeah,
because he's great at making Death Stranding trailers. Even if you don't like the game, the trailers are great.
They're they're chaotic.
And then I'd see Phil Spencer just dragging his ass out on stage to be like, "Hey, remember we paid Hideo Kojima to make a game for us, right?" And that'll be like it. That'll be like it. But we'll get an update.
Okay, I'm gonna say no, just to balance the board here.
Yeah. I'll take that one. I'll say yes.
And then I'm going to say there's going to be an F-099 update in this upcoming Nintendo Direct.
F-099 update?
Yeah, like they're going to be like, hey, we're adding this to F-099. I don't know what. I think maybe Death Race. That would be the one thing that's missing at this point.
I could see that. I could also just see them announcing a new 99 game. Mm-hmm. Sure, why not? They've been supporting that one more than some of the others they released.
Way more.
Yeah. Yep.
I want to find these devs and just shake their damn hands.
I want to shake his hand.
I just want to shake his hand. Yeah. Nintendo, please let me talk to these devs. Let them out of their cave where you make them make things. It's the weirdest team, man. It's like a Skunkworks and Nintendo of America that made this game. It's not, I don't know. Anyway, we did it. We predicted things. And this one will actually be able to find out if we were right this year. So tune in to Shack Together episode 50. I don't know what episode it'll be.
Maybe 35-ish. We'll say something like that.
We'll have Donovan come back for it.
Oh yeah.
Well, thanks.
Just
guys.
like we're gonna have Ozzy come back for that one that's next year.
Yes, next year in like March. Yeah,
like March. Awesome. Well, we'll be right back with story time, so stay tuned. Welcome to Storytime. Let's dive into the latest stories from the past week. We got some quickies, and it's also P Review Palooza Volume 3. I guess that's preview or P Review. Either way, here we are.
It's either way, whatever works for you.
Either way, here we are. There's a trademark next to quickies here. We're going to hit these fast. This is a weird one, Donovan. I know you wrote this today. $400,000 worth of stolen Playdate handheld consoles turn up at a restaurant after being missing for, since March?
Yeah, it was exactly 2 months ago where they got delivered to the wrong place. This happened in like Las Vegas. The $400,000 worth of these Playdate handheld consoles that Panic makes got misdelivered. The inventory was lost. It was like a big thing people were talking about on Twitter for a while. And then everyone kind of just forgot about it very quickly. So much so that when I read this morning, I was like, oh man, it's been like a year since that happened. It was 2 months ago. Yeah, and they said in their tweet, they're just like, hey, remember when this happened? Guess what was hastily dropped outside of a restaurant today? And they have pictures of just the boxes, some of them like strewn about a sidewalk of the boxes. And they tease in the replies that they've got like, there's a full story coming. They do a Playdate podcast where they're going to spill all the details. And they're like, this is going to make for a great podcast. They also admit in the thread that they were like, okay, we'll be honest, it was a little fun trying to do the detective work to figure out what happened here, which I thought was funny. So yeah, very bizarre story.
And I guess I'm happy that there's a somewhat happy ending here. I'm sure the people who were the prospective owners of these Playdates are going to be happy that they'll be coming sooner than expected.
Well, that's the funny thing, right? Is they say in the Twitter thread as well, they're like, should we sell these? And then they say Playdate hot with the trademark sign after it, which I get you do sell. I don't know what the protocol would be like for something like that in business. I guess you just sell it, right? They don't seem tampered with.
I don't know. There has to be some sort of QA done to make sure that they're okay. But I don't know. I don't think a company of their size can just throw away $400,000 of inventory.
No.
That's a good point. If this was a bigger manufacturer, they probably just put them all in the incinerator.
I never opened mine, so I have it in the box still because I just think it's going to be a collector's thingy someday. But
yeah, maybe.
And I also just buy useless square-shaped consumer electronics devices like the Rabbit R1.
It's kind of your thing.
It is like my go-to move.
It's just niche.
That and Amiibo. No. But we're moving on. Quickies here. EA Sports College Football 25 details abilities and wear and tear system. Donovan, they're trying to make me fall in love again, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing it. Yeah, like this is another one of those games on my 360 that I have hundreds, thousands of hours in. Because I've been playing NCAA 2013 since 2012, guys. I've been playing the same college football game. Because when they announced that 2014 would be the last one, I boycotted the franchise because I was like, this is stupid. I'm not going to give them money. Oddly enough, Donovan, do you know who was on the cover of NCAA 14?
I believe that's Denard Robinson,
from the Michigan Wolverines.
Yep.
And now who's on the cover of this one?
Among three players, Donovan Edwards, Michigan Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And a champion.
Yeah, national champion.
National champion.
He's a...
So, in theory, you would think that the guy who loves the Michigan Wolverines, I went to Ann Arbor for college, like maybe this would get me back. No, I still don't trust these guys. They said the words, man. They said the words Ultimate Team. And ever since then, I refuse to get excited about this game.
Conveniently completely absent from today's gameplay deep dive. They put out like a 5-minute video today highlighting a lot of the new gameplay features and what's different and everything. You mentioned the wear and tear system that I had in the headline, which that seemed interesting. It's one of those things where like on paper it seems cool. Execution is going to be everything, but they're essentially saying that you'll have to actually substitute your players out. Like if you just give a guy the ball 20 times a game for an entire season, like his legs are going to be more susceptible to injuries or he'll run slower and stuff like that.
See,
which
right there. You have you watched my Bizarro Wolverine streams? That's all I do is run the ball.
Yeah.
Like I like making freak characters in the character creator, which is not going to exist. We haven't seen it yet, so it's probably not going to happen. But like, it was fun to have a team of mutants that were all 99 overall at everything. And like now I'm going to have to open up my checkbook to just buy Barry Sanders' Ultimate Team card or something. I don't know if Barry's even going to be in this because he had this whole fallout with Madden over this. So
yeah,
who knows? Who knows where this is going? But I'll play you in it. I'm obviously going to play as the Wolverines in it because but like, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a game from 2012 that I'm still playing because it's going to be more feature rich, at least in the Dynasty mode. So that's my fear. And nothing has come out to assuage my fears yet. They just keep showing other cool things. And I'm like, that's cool and all, but what's going on over here? And haven't been given an update to make me think otherwise. Also, they had like an event this week and they invited a bunch of influencers and IGN.
A lot of sports writers.
Yeah, like Sportskeeda was there. Sportskeeda is like a game publication now, apparently. So anyway, shout out to everyone who got to try this game out this week. You're all sucked at covering it, but keep up the good work. Moving on. The Rogue Prince of Persia. This might have something to do with me calling Madden 23 best-selling monopolistic trash, but whatever. Sorry. Ozzy dove into the Joe, if you didn't get enough Prince of Persia this year, we got another one coming for you. The Rogue Prince of Persia is a roguelite with a deeper mystery. What I think's really cool about this game that Ozzy mentioned in his preview, it has this like branching story path thing where if you talk to a specific NPC, you unlock a new path that didn't exist previously. So it seems like there's a lot of replay value to this, and there's going to be like a lot of different ways to get through it. But it does sound like it's not just, oh, I beat the roguelite, I'm done. It's like, oh, I can do it this way now, or I could do it that way, or introducing new weapons or new traversal. Like, it just sounds really cool. And this is from the developers that made Dead Cells.
Right. Which gives me some good faith.
Dead Cells is awesome.
Yes.
And this game looks really good. I think the art style also looks pretty charming. Yeah. Check it out. I believe it's in early access right now. Cool. Moving on. What's this? Oh, yeah, this is Preview Palooza. That's right. So we got a preview for Frostpunk 2. It's another take on the Frostpunk Frozen City Builder universe. It just looks like a much grander in scale Frostpunk. But yeah, I believe this was a breakout of like an interview. But yeah, it just looks cool. I don't know. We had a freelancer hit this up, Lexi, at the I think this is an event over there in England or Europe or something. But we haven't heard a whole lot about this game. We've seen a couple of trailers. Yeah, it looks like it's progressing nicely. Did either of you guys play the first Frostpunk?
I did not. I missed out on that game.
It's pretty
I was
cool.
afraid to. The premise was too heavy for me.
Yeah. yeah. It's kind of a downer universe that it exists in.
Yes.
And then we had some reviews. Donovan, you already talked about Killer Klowns. We had Lucas reviewed X Defiant. Dude, what is X Defiant, Donovan? What are we doing?
It's like a Ubisoft CoD, but they have characters and gadgets from different Ubisoft franchises like Splinter Cell and Watch Dogs,
So it's like
and Far Cry.
Smash. It's like Smash Brothers, but a shooter, but for Ubisoft.
Kind of, a little bit. They're not so much like in your face about the collab stuff, really. Like the different factions are like, here's the Ghost Recon faction, and they'll have like an invisibility cloak that they can use for 2 seconds.
One thing I noticed, there's no skill-based matchmaking in the game. And some people say that's a good thing, and some people are saying that's a bad thing.
Oh, well, the huge COD people are going to love that, 'cause that's all they complain about, at least for the better part of the last decade in skill-based matchmaking. So,
yeah.
I'm sure they'll find an audience there. I played this thing when it was in one of its betas, like a year or two ago. It was fine. It was competent. It felt like old Call of Duty, which could be a very good or very bad thing, depending who you ask. It was a little generic, but it was harmless. I thought it was competent enough, not something I'm probably going to download and play more of, but it's whatever. I mean, Ubisoft just laughing in my face with Watch Dogs adjacent content after running that franchise into the ground and abandoning it, but that's okay. I'm a Watch Dogs defender, Joe. I should mention that.
Yeah,
good to know. There's only a few of you out there, so
he's the
there
one.
Are dozens of us. There are dozens of us.
Yep. And then Jan reviewed F124. EA appears to be doing what they always do, where they just kind of coast on existing IP. So they acquired Codemasters, like 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah.
This franchise has not really moved forward. It's stunning. It's one of the best it's one of the best graphics you'll see in a racing game. It has a lot of good simulation stuff to it with like, playing through a season and stuff. But it's just not a whole lot different. I think Jan mentioned it's just not a whole lot of an upgrade. They still haven't really addressed some of the features that are missing, and the AI in the game is still kind of dumb. And all that can be frustrating in a racing game. But yeah, this will probably be one of those games that comes up come award season at Shack News, just because even when it's a mediocre year for this game, it is still one of the best racing games to come out in most years.
Yeah.
So yeah, they haven't completely ruined F1 yet over there at EA, but just give them time. Give them time. They'll figure it out. And then, the last review of the week was Aster Blade of the Monolith. Lucas reviewed it. This is like an action-adventure game. Looks like it has some pretty interesting combat, which landed with Lucas pretty highly. It got a 7 out of 10, so it's not like the craziest thing. Oh, yeah, sorry. F1 got an 8 out of 10 from Jan also. And what did X Defiant get? A 7. So, yeah.
Okay.
So there's your review wrap up in the shorty or quickies. Sorry, not shorties. What am I doing? Shorties. Did I just invent another thing?
Yes.
Anyway, quickies. And then on Storytime this week, for Longies, we're actually going to call this is a video game segment this week. How about that? I don't have any financial news to talk about. I do, but I'm not going to mention it. And we have the whole reason that this podcast is coming out late this week, folks, is because we wanted to give Sony State of Play a chance.
Oh, yes.
At breaking news. And I'm here to disappoint people. Okay. I find Astrobot to be charming.
Sure.
But people need to simmer down. This isn't even a top 20 platformer.
Damn.
Let's just hold the phone when you act like this is the second coming of some sort of platforming Jesus. It's great. It's a great celebration of the PlayStation brand. Tons of cameos. But can people at least go watch some Mario Odyssey gameplay or some Bowser's Fury gameplay or some, I don't know, Mario Galaxy gameplay or Mario Galaxy 2 gameplay before we just anoint this as the greatest platforming game of all time? It looks great. It looks cute. It's a celebration of PlayStation IP. I get all that. The one that was packed in with the PlayStation was not that complicated from a platforming perspective. It was like a tech demo for the PlayStation controller, which was cool. I liked that idea.
It was beautiful. I think people were swept away. It just had that next gen gloss, which is, kind of hard to come by this generation.
It was a good introduction to that platform.
Yeah, but now you got me thinking about platforming Jesus, which I think could be the next PlayStation Studios prestige AAA release.
Whoever, if you made a platforming Jesus game, I would probably play it. And look, Don was in Discord with me when I was reacting to this trailer live. I don't have bad things to say about it. I mainly have bad things to say about just people reacting to it. It's just calm down. I know that you guys have no games coming out on PlayStation this year, so hearing about any game coming out is exciting, but
I mean, hey, there's an Astrobot hive out there, and
if there is, yeah.
It's not like there's a 3D Mario
party,
coming out
guys.
anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, Astrobot, the movie, right?
Guys, yeah, I think you'll appreciate this story very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a kid's 4th birthday party, and with my children, I should say. I wasn't attending for my own sake. And they were all crowded around a PlayStation 5, the 4-year-olds, and I think some of their, maybe older cousins as well sprinkled in there. They were playing Astrobot.
Okay.
I couldn't believe it.
It's a very cute character. I'm sure, kids love it.
It's family friendly. It's
family friendly, yeah. But I was just how do they even know about it?
It's also an interesting point I think is worth making is that Astrobot is also one of the few purely family friendly active PlayStation IP. It's Astrobot. You could kind of Yeah, Sackboy, but even Sackboy hasn't had a game in a little bit
Sackboy
now.
fell flat on his face after 4 attempts. Like he did not become there. Like Sony has been dying for a mascot that appeals to a broader demographic. Astrobot is certainly that.
Yeah, it's like outside of that though, PlayStation has God of War, Kratos. That's not family friendly. Last of Us, definitely not family friendly. Uncharted, no. Horizon, kind of. It's like the friend robot. Yeah, you could make the argument that Horizon is like
Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, but that's still guns. It's a guns game.
Yeah, you're right.
We all, guys, we had Crash Bandicoot, and they could have kept that alive better, and they got rid of it. Or did Activision buy it or take it, or they always owned it?
The IP, yeah. It was always like a licensed IP. That was the thing. Like I think this was a problem for PlayStation for a really long time. Is some of the most iconic characters on PlayStation systems were from third-party software. So like Cloud, for instance, I would say is like, probably one of the most iconic characters on the PlayStation 5. But that's not really there. So I get why they're doing this with Astrobot. Let's just calm down. We may have just seen all the cool parts of the game, or maybe this game's going to be awesome. And like, I'm all for it. Someone said it kind of looks like Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and I think that's a really good comparison. But one thing you'll never hear me say is that Kirby and the Forgotten Land is better than Mario Odyssey. And it doesn't
have to be that good.
No, but like console warriors need to just at least be knowledgeable of the other systems when they're talking about how great one of these games is all I'm saying. It's like, I know that you haven't had good platformers on your systems, but like Mario Odyssey is one of the best games ever made.
Sure.
And I think a lot of people slept on it. Like a lot.
I don't know if I would agree with that. I feel like there's any franchise that's had its praises sung to the heavens. It's the Mario platformers. That's like, I don't know if that.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like people were in love with that game. Even when there was the Infinity Nikki yesterday, the song in that one sounded like a Jump Up Superstar. I kept seeing people call out, which it does. It sounds like the instrumental Jump Up Superstar.
Oh, and talking about music, like the Astrobot song that was playing in the trailer was great. Like I'm into this. Like I love the GPU song from the first game and stuff. Like I'm not mad that this is getting a game. I'm just more like, can we calm down? This is not like, I think they're trying to act like it's a tentpole franchise for their company, but it's not. I guess here's the real question. Is this going to sell PlayStations?
No.
No, people are not going to buy consoles for that game, I would imagine.
That's it. That's all I want to say. It's not that I think it's a bad game. I have no idea. I haven't played it yet. I think the IP is interesting. I actually liked Rescue Mission, the VR version of the Astrobot game, the first one. And I like that they have used Astrobot to kind of introduce hardware. So maybe this will be the game that like ships with the PlayStation Pro or something. We'll see. But we can move on. We gotta talk about Concord. What the hell is Concord?
I say Concord. I think it's Concord.
Concord.
Concord's bad fur day.
Concord. Whatever. Firewalk Studios is making a game that looks like Guardians of the Galaxy but isn't.
Yeah,
it looks like if Guardians was
Overwatch, and some Destiny too, as well.
But the weird thing is, Marvel is making an Overwatch called Marvel Rivals, and they showed it during the same presentation.
They did. Here's my thing with Concord. It did the same thing that a lot of these live service games do, where like when they first reveal them and we're watching these 6-minute CG trailers, I'm like, man, this is really cool. Like the characters seem cool, the world seems cool, and I just know the second we cut to gameplay, the line graph of my interest is going to drop dramatically, and it just does every time because it's like, and it's a 5v5 hero shooter, and that's fine. Right. That's okay. Yeah. It can be very fun, but I thought there was a lot of personality in that clip. I know people kind of poo-pooed on it because it's very quippy Marvel movie writing, which it is. It's very Guardians coded. But I thought it was neat. I was like, man, if this was just like a cinematic
single-player game,
narrative adventure game, I'd be all in. I'd be all in for this.
That was what was confusing for me. Is like when I saw they had like 2 trailers, right? The first one was the cinematic. I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool. Yeah. And then same thing. Here's the shooting, and it looks like a mix of TF2, Overwatch, and Valorant. And like some Counter-Strike. And I'm like, okay. It feels like this was a game that probably was greenlit in like 2016 or
Yes.
something. Because like I don't know what the market will be for this. I
Now-
do think it's important that it is going to simultaneously
Yep.
release on PC and PlayStation.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
But
That's huge.
But you
I
know what? If
don't
it's
know.
good, like
Mhm.
I think I had some cynicism looking at pre-release Helldivers 2.
Sure.
You know, like there's just nothing really compelling about the marketing leading up to that. So like I never know. I'm not, and Helldivers 2 also doesn't really do anything for me, but just to say, like, I don't know that I'd put my money on success or failure based on the bad impression that the preview gave me here.
Well, no, it's not the gameplay, it's just the genre. I think it's
exactly. Sure.
I think it's a very difficult genre to get into and to get people to care about. And we've seen just so many failures in this space. So
It's hard not to be cynical because of what you just said, right? Where we know that it's like there's two outcomes. Either this game takes over the world and is everybody's favorite shooter of the year, or it gets like a middling response and they just turn it off in a year. We'll get the announcement on PlayStation blog or on a Twitter screenshot where they're just like, thanks for the support, we're out. You know, there's no room for this game to be just okay or to just have like a medium-sized fan base. So yeah.
I'm not sure. There hasn't really been a first-person shooter that like Sony has made internally that is like taken over. It's usually people play CoD or people play Overwatch or they're playing PUBG on your system. You know what I mean? Like it's never been, I guess, since like Resistance or whatever. I don't know. I think that there's going to be. I think that it releases on PC is important, but God help them if they require a PSN account for it or something. You know what I mean? Like there's mistakes that they're making.
Right.
I do want to mention this. It's not in the rundown, but like Sony before the state of play, they leaked the final shape for Destiny 2. Like they leaked the whole damn thing. It was available to download. Yeah. They released it on the PlayStation Store, and a bunch of people downloaded it and they uploaded.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like, can Microsoft and Sony go a week without embarrassing themselves? Can they go a week? That's my question.
I don't think they can. No, I really don't think they can.
Because I can't wait to see what the next. It's every week. It's that GIF of the guy trying to wash his car and he drops everything. It's that every week. Every week.
Painful back and forth of hold my beers.
And then, like, meanwhile, Nintendo is literally that Kirby fishing meme, like from Forgotten Land. They're just Kirby sitting there fishing with their fishing hat on and just watching their competitors just cake themselves. But yeah, we did get a Silent Hill 2 remake release date. It's coming in October. I think Silent Hill takes place in Canton, Ohio, because we get a lot of fog here, and it is pretty dystopian. So I'm looking forward to getting back into that. This is Bloober Team is making this, and tricky track record with horror games. They did make that Blair Witch game you were talking about earlier, Dom.
I don't think Silent Hill 2 remake looks all that crazy impressive, but I do think it's smart that it's coming out in October. Spooky season. People love playing that game and streaming it.
I think that's a game where the fan base will carry it. Like they'll buy it. But once again,
I think they'll also like it that it's got some real jank in that trailer. And I think maybe that's good.
Maybe, yeah.
In the Bethesda sort of way, right? Where it's like
sure, yeah. I would more so like in the magic of Silent Hill 2 on PlayStation 2 was the creakiness of it all. Like it was it was like beautifully janky. God forbid you were next to an enemy in that game. It was like, taking a wrench to your controller to try and survive. So if they can like manage to maintain, I'm hesitant to call it magic, but like just that je ne sais quoi of an old horror game, that might work here.
Yeah, it's like the fog is a huge aspect of that, right? Like the way they use the visibility in that game and the way that they hide things. It's really interesting. I don't know. I have a soft spot in my heart for that franchise. So I'm looking forward to it. I agree, though, Dom. It doesn't look great. It just looks like, okay. But we'll see what happens. And then, speaking of not selling systems, God of War Ragnarok's coming to PC in September.
Wow.
Yeah.
My favorite, 7 out of 10.
That's your...
That's another hot take.
Is it?
No, man, I kind of agree.
I
Okay,
think that's a normal take.
That's definitely a hot take. That game was critically beloved. People love that game. That game got like overwhelming.
But if you go by critics,
applause.
right? Like everything starts critically acclaimed, and then like the real numbers set in.
I guess I don't know.
The game's a
like
classic 7.
I feel like people really love God of War Ragnarok. I mean, I don't really have strong feelings about that franchise, but I think it'll do great on PC though. I think that they should just keep putting all these games on
right
PC.
Into Shack Together with hashtag God of War 7 out of 10. Let us know what you think.
I have a feeling most people are going to be more upset about my Astrobot take, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm not. I think mine is not a hot take. Yours might be more so.
I don't know what it is about God of War, man. It never has grabbed me. Although the first one on was 2018.
2018 is very good.
That's a good game.
Yes.
I thought God of War 3 was kind of 2 was okay. The first God of War, when it came out, like you have to remember how long ago these were. This is like PS3 era.
2 and 3, yeah.
2 and 3. But like that late PS2 era, what they were able to do in that first God of War game, you're like, holy crap, I've never seen something like this before. And it just felt like by the time Ragnarok rolled around, it was like, yeah, this is just the same thing. And I think they did things artistically in the 2018 God of War that they didn't really do in Ragnarok that made it stick out more. But this will probably be a good PC port. Sony is getting better at this. Yeah. Their most recent release is the Ghost of Tsushima on PC, and it is getting all of the flowers from everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Was there anything else from the Sony event, Donovan, that you think we need to mention?
No. I think we've covered all the important bases. What's up?
I have to do the Jeff Keighley thing. What would you rank this? A, B, C, or D?
It's a solid C. State of play is always kind of the same thing where people kind of go into it with larger than life expectations, but that's more of a PlayStation showcase kind of thing. It's fine. I wasn't offended by any of the reveals there. Yeah, I'd go solid C.
Joe, what would you give it, Joe?
Well, like I'm not a journalist, and therefore, like I feel like I can speak most freely out of all of us. For me, it's an F. There's no.
That wasn't an option on God Emperor's poll, man. He just says D or below.
D or below for me. No shit. It's just nothing for me here personally.
Yeah.
If they didn't drop that Astrobot trailer, it was a D or below for me. But I think the Astrobot trailer was very cute. I'm going to give it a C. And just for the folks at home, there have been 112,000 votes on the glorious God Emperor's tweet. 41.6% say D or below.
Wow.
33.2% say C, and 19.5% say D. Only 5.7% of people called it an A.
Okay, fair, but also I feel like just every PlayStation event that doesn't have Bloodborne remake at it is going to get people shitting on it. I feel like they could have announced The Last of Us 3 and people would have been like, where was Bloodborne remake?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sorry. A? Come on. This isn't an A. It's not an A.
No, it's not.
You know, there are some Astrobot fans out there who were beside themselves with that, and they say, you know what, A?
I'm
pro Astrobot, personally. I think I'm hotter on it than even Asif is, but...
I'm definitely not hot on it. I'm like, it's just go play good games, people. Like, go play a fucking platformer. Just go play one platformer, and then tell me how excited about Astrobot you are. It's fine. But yeah, sorry. We got one last longie, and we can't escape Microsoft in this segment. Call of Duty Black Ops 6, which, okay, confirmed for Xbox Game Pass. Microsoft figuring out how to destroy the CoD franchise in record time. I really got to give it to them here. This is impressive. This is very impressive because they found a way to make $1.2 billion of revenue disappear in a snap. So congratulations to Microsoft innovating in the destruction of IP. But yeah.
Well, yeah.
Are you more or less likely to play COD because of this?
I'm more likely to play it personally. I'm definitely more likely to play it.
Yes, it goes from 0 to 3% for me. I'm being really down this episode. I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's because we waited a whole day and all we got was an Astrobot trailer. No, it's fine. But yeah, like I don't know. Why would you take the best-selling franchise and then not sell it? Like, what are you doing?
We talked about this off air, but I think it's because they have backed themselves into a corner. Because when they kind of trotted out Game Pass and it was the whole day and date promise, that so far they've kept, even with like the Starfields and whatnot, it's like, every first party Xbox Studios game, you get it on Game Pass. I think the moment that you get like an IP that's too big to suddenly do that and you renege on that promise, one, you just get massive backlash from fans, but two, now you've created an uncertainty where going forward every Xbox game we have to be like, oh, is this one too big? Is this not going to be the Game Pass one? Is Indiana Jones? Every single Xbox game that comes out, it becomes a thing of, well, is this in that tier that doesn't go to Game Pass? So I feel like they kind of had to, but they will lose a lot of money on it. But from a business sense, I'm curious to see how it does.
I agree that they had to. I think they had to put on Game Pass, because if they didn't put on Game Pass, then the entire past 10 years of a business strategy, like this is the single experiment that matters. Okay, we finally made the acquisition.
Fail. It's going to fail.
I don't necessarily disagree with you, but don't they have to follow through on this massive swing they've been taking?
No. Well, admit that what you're doing is inherently deflationary for the whole industry. Like, admit that you're wrong is what needs to happen here. Instead, they're going to destroy the entire Xbox Game Pass ecosystem. Because guess what? That's a rev share model. So let's say Infinite Kitty or whatever the hell that was. Let's say that came out on Game Pass the same month as CoD. That game's not going to do jack shit for revenue. It's going to be this giant vacuum, because all the playtime for Game Pass subscribers is going to be attributed to COD. So it's not just like this is bad for COD sales, it's bad for the rest of the Game Pass ecosystem, because there's less money to go around. There's like, Microsoft needs to just admit they never have been profitable at the Xbox division outside of like one quarter. I think it was like Halo Reach released and they had a profit. Outside of that, they lose money. And Game Pass loses money. So now Game Pass is going to lose more money, and it's going to lose more money for devs. So it's like, it'd be one thing if this was Netflix and they actually were turning a profit. They're not. They're so bad at turning a profit, they won't even tell us the economics of the Game Pass ecosystem. They won't even disclose it publicly.
Yeah. I think
all they do is they tout how many subscribers they have. So it's like, okay, maybe you get up to 30 million subscribers, but if they're all playing COD, that money is not going to go to those awesome Game Pass games. Like, I don't know, isn't Humanity on there as of today? And like, Vampire Survivors was on that. Like, the rev share model of Game Pass, I think, is going to be broken by putting whales like this on the platform. So I think they need to come to grips with the fact that they suck at this, and that maybe this recurring revenue model that Satya Nadella thinks is a good idea is bad for the industry. Mm. And a year from now, when I'm right, they'll do it again because they're fucking idiots.
Like, I think one interesting angle of this is that over the last half decade, we've seen COD become a microtransaction vehicle in a way it never really was, where they used to just do like $20 map packs 3 times in between life cycles, and that was
now
it.
With like weapon skins and
now they've got the full battle passes, and we just saw the Fallout collaboration leaked, and they've got voice packs and weapon tracers and icons. They sell stuff out the wazoo on Warzone. So I don't know, maybe there's a world where you get people in the door for free, and then it's like Fortnite, right? Where it's like, well, now that you're having fun with this game, buy the cool gun skin, buy the cool Marvel character costume to wear. For people who might not have even dropped 70 on it. But I don't know. Just from a business perspective, I'm just fascinated to see if this creates like a bigger. Are people going to play COD who wouldn't have otherwise? If people were like, I'm not dropping 70 on COD, but maybe they'll check it out this time. Will that player base inflate? Which sounds crazy to say because it already has a massive
I'm like,
audience.
Who hasn't had a chance to play COD yet? There's plenty of chances. And if you really want to play COD, you can go to GameStop right now and buy last year's COD for $5 probably, because it sells so fucking much that I don't know, guys. I just want to remind people, they acquired Activision Blizzard for $70 billion.
That's a lot of money.
How do you make that back with Game Pass subs? You don't. at all. So it's like, this is just stupid, is all I'm saying. It's stupid. And like, I cannot wait to see if COD Black Ops 6 comes to Switch this year. I'm dying for that. If that happens, I'll be so happy.
They're also, I mean, certainly more COD players on PlayStation than Xbox, and they don't. That's like the whole Game Pass conversation stops there. That's a full $70 game.
People will still pay full price on PlayStation and not on Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
So the company that owns IP is going to make less money on their platform than on other platforms. Boy, that $70 billion deal sure looks smart now. It's like, I don't fucking know, guys. Anyway, sorry. That's it. We did it. That was the end of the longies, trademarked, or also called, this is a video game segment this week. So we do have some community notes. It looks like Romsteady posted to the chatty. Was this in reply to our article thread for the episode?
Probably. Yes, it was.
So yeah, Romsteady said, I really wish there wasn't so much AI news to cover. Well, good news. We barely covered AI this week. And there was some news I could have mentioned. Also, this chatty post the moment, which, yeah, Joe, we did talk about this on a previous episode. But yeah, what's your gaming white whale? The one thing you're determined to play and finish one day, or achievement inside of a game?
Oh, my recent one, because I think about it at least once a day, is Baldur's Gate 3. I need to beat that game, actually. I need to roll credits on it. But that's a tall mountain to climb. Because
just love time. That game.
Yeah, it's just massive time sink. You have to commit so much. Also, the game's just hard. People don't talk about it enough. Baldur's Gate 3 is a very hard game. Even on
I agree with that. It's like one bad decision, you're like, okay, well, screw me.
Yeah, it can be very punishing, which is true to D&D. But yeah, that's a game where I'm just like, oh man, one day I'm just gonna sit down and like really power through a playthrough of that game. So I've started it like 5 times between my own solo playthroughs and starting playthroughs with friends that fizzle out. Yeah, after a few hours. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Joe, do you have one?
What did I answer last time?
I don't know.
Because it certainly hasn't changed. I said, yeah, Dragon Age Inquisition is not deserving of the title, but I do think about it a lot. So
well,
maybe
for me, it used to be winning at F-099, right? And then I did that. So I guess it's winning the Grand Prix in F-099 is kind of a white whale, but I don't even know if it's a white whale anymore because I'm very good. Like, I'm going to do it. I have no doubt.
You're going to do it. You're absolutely going to do it.
I'm one of the best racers in the known universe. Like, God help everyone else on the streets of Mute City with me. But there is this thing from another game that I don't even know if I'll ever get around to doing it now. But when I was on a plane, this was my go-to thing on planes when I was like flying across the country or over to Japan or whatever. Trial of the Sword in Breath of the Wild.
I
want to beat it. I want to beat it. I just want to beat it. And I'm like 200 some hours into Tears. Like, I don't know when I'm ever going to get back to playing Breath of the Wild for that purpose. But yeah, that, or maybe just beating a boss in Demon Souls. Just one. So yeah, those are mine.
Yeah, it's funny to say that I was going to put Elden Ring as my runner-up, but I feel like that's much more attainable than Baldur's Gate 3 right now. It's crazy that sounds out loud, but
yeah, it does sound fucking crazy. But yeah, shout out to Ocean State 8. That was a good thread. And shout out to Romsteady. Yeah, we did it. Those were the community notes.
Wow.
That's going to do it for today's show. It was a long one.
Yeah.
Subscribe on your podcast app of choice. Tune in every Friday for more Shack Together. Remember, if you made it this far into this podcast, you like us. You have to, right? So go out there and let the internet know. Share our podcast with a friend or someone on social media. Go and review us. Give us 5 out of 5 stars or whatever on iTunes.
Yeah.
Or just, reply to our article thread and tell us we're doing a great job. Or even watch us on YouTube and give us a thumbs up over there. So yeah, we appreciate everyone for listening. That'll do it. Thank you, Joe and Donovan, for joining me. Donovan, welcome back. I'm glad to have you here in the Shack News Extended Podcast universe. Or the CPOO, as the kids are calling it, right? They're still calling it that?
Yeah, that's the ticker.
That's what Gen Z says.
Yeah. Gen Z's all about that life. Okay, great. Awesome. Yeah, that'll do. Stay tuned next week. Find out if I get arrested at the grocery store. And also, I don't think I actually listed off my rivals of the week. So here, just real quick. I don't think I did it right.
You did not.
It was Mario Tube. This is from F-Zero99. Mario Tube lost to him. Tom Turbo beat him. Guys, I played the Switch 2. I mean, like, literally, the Switch 2 was one of my opponents in F-Zero99.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
They beat me. Soup Ninja beat them. I beat U2 and Bono, but U2. Beat Carlingo. I beat Snaggles. And I had a hell of a battle with a user named Blue Water, where we were in a Grand Prix together. So we were trading places. But yeah, those are my rivals of the week. Sorry.
Nicely done.
Anyway, that's it.
That's it.
we did it. That's the show. Oh, this is where we wave at the camera that's not on and say bye. I'll never
Bye.
forget
Thanks,
you.
Donovan. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening.
Thank
Bye.
you.
I'll never forget you.
Bye.
Shack Together is a Shack News production.
Shack Together is a Shack News production.
Shack Together is a Shack News production.
Shack News is a multimedia company consisting of a variety of entertainment properties, including ShackNews.com, video game and cutting-edge technology coverage with evergreen video, guide, and long-read content, providing readers and viewers with the latest reviews, previews, interviews, and news. Shack News content is readable and viewable at ShackNews.com, Facebook, YouTube at Shack News Interviews, and Shack News VODs, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at Shack News Media, Twitch, and more. But that's not all. You can play Bubbletron, our first video game. Combine 3 ideas, hit the market, and get your money hat. Bubbletron is a daily game in the style of Wordle where players can launch a company and see its valuation instantly. Hit that high score and brag to your friends. Visit Bubbletron.com to play. There is no download required, no signups required, but if you are into app downloads, we have the cutest one on the planet. It's called Shack Pets, the ultimate battle for cuteness. Swipe your pets to victory on iOS and Android in this Tinder-like app for pets. Shack News is proud to present a variety of micro products, all available for free at shacknews.com. Cortex is a publishing platform available to all of our users. Shouts is a Twitter replacement in a time where Twitter really needs replacing. And Reader, an RSS reader that won't get shut down by Google anytime soon. You can import YouTube, subreddits, all sorts of cool stuff, even podcast feeds. And lastly, all of our products are completely free to use and play, so if you're a fan of what we're doing and want to support the Shack News ecosystem, head over to shacknews.com/Mercury. Mercury offers subscribers access to exclusive Shack News swag like hoodies and VIP access to our long reads in downloadable format. It's a great way to support us. There's different tiers, and you get a lightning bolt next to your name.